So today on the channel we are tackling a really mouldy, really filthy, neglected Volvo. This is my parents' Volvo V70. It's a really good car. It's sat for quite a while before I've got my hands on it, and then I've actually been using it daily. We've done some road trips. So yeah, it is in dire need of a clean, as you can see from these before shots. I'm starting out this detail in the engine bay as it's one of the dirtiest areas on this car and it's been neglected for far too long. There's grease and grime everywhere. What I'm going to do is use a Screwfix degreaser that you can buy in bulk, the no nonsense stuff, to treat the really dirty bits where it looks like there's been oil actually leaking directly onto it, or where it's built up heavily, as opposed to the general sort of dust and grime. Then I'm going to go over the rest of the engine bay, which is still pretty disgusting in my mind, with an all-purpose cleaner, which is going to be Surfex HD from Built Hamber. So once that's had a chance to soak for a couple of minutes, I'm going to go over with a variety of brushes to get in all the nooks and crannies, the different areas that come with a complex engine bay that you get on modern cars, all the different hidey holes that muck can be in, and we're going to aim to get this back to a nice clean surface all around. Then later on we can dress it and it'll be, respectable under there once more. Not looking for a showroom finish, but I am looking for, a lot more presentable under there. Now that as many surfaces as I can get to have been agitated and all the muck's now encapsulated within that product, I'm going to rinse it all off. Now, as we are using a pressure washer in the engine bay, I'm going to make sure I keep the stream moving and don't focus on driving in water into any particular areas. On most modern engines, especially a diesel like this with big plastic covers, you're going to be pretty okay if you use a bit of common sense and you're not holding the pressure washer 5mm away from any surface or anywhere where there's gaskets or joins or anything like that. But just keep the water stream moving, use it to just actually move off the product and the muck and the residue and whatnot, and you should be okay. I do like to use a snow foam on the engine as the sort of last measure. Because it migrates and sort of dwells, it gets any bits that I might have missed, or just helps to break down that final bit of stubborn dirt that could be hiding somewhere. And also I do find it quite satisfying, and it looks good for the camera too. So I'm going to put that on, let it dwell, and then I can rinse that off as well. While the engine's still wet, I'm going to use some Auto Glim Vinyl and Rubber Care. This is just a water-based dressing, so you can spray it on while the engine's wet, leave it for as long as you want pretty much, and buff it off, and it'll get you that satisfying factory sheen. And you can reapply it when dry if it's not quite up to your sheen levels, which is what I ended up doing in the end. And stick around to the end of the video to see how this looks, because this engine bay was just clean enough to eat your dinner off by the end. Onto the wheels and tyres next. Tyres and the arches as well, get a spray down with some more Surfex all-purpose cleaner. The wheels I wasn't too bothered about getting super clean, as these are pretty bad. When I had them off the car before we swapped these on, I went over them with about 10 applications of fallout remover and wheel cleaner, and this is the best I can pretty much get them. There is some general dirt on there which I did obviously bother going over to get rid of, but these wheels really would benefit from a refurb. As the car's so mouldy and dirty and there's just so much ingrained filth on there, what I want to do is treat it with a number of different chemicals and a number of different rounds, as it were. So first I go over with the, surprise surprise, the all-purpose cleaner and let that soak in, and then I cover that with a foam and end up letting that sit for quite a while, as long as I can, before it starts to dry on, and then I rinse that off, and then we can go in with another round of cleaning. This hopefully should get that initial film, that initial heavy layer of dirt off the car. The all-purpose cleaner and snow foam combo, and with a bit of agitation already, has done a great job of dislodging some of the ingrained dirt in the seals and on the surface. As you can really see, it starts to be pulled out now actually. I think it's quite evident that it's doing a good job. But I'm just going to, when I'm rinsing, make sure that I'm really paying attention to getting in the panel gaps and all the window seals and whatnot. Then I'm going to go back in with some all-purpose cleaner and a detail brush and get around some of the more intricate details of the car, which I think maybe could do with another going over. And then that'll be the pre-cleaning stage done. For this wash, as the car's so dirty, I'm using Maguire's Wash Plus, which apparently has micro abrasives in it, and it's really good for cleaning really dirty cars like this. So you apply it directly to a mitt. I've also got some in the bucket as well, and it's pretty lubricious, is that a word? It foams up really well. It really glides over the surface, and I really made sure to rub it in really well in the hope of pulling as much dirt as I can, so that when I do come to decontaminate the paint for later on, it cuts down my own workload. Just getting in a bit of tar removal before I go on to using a clear cloth, and yeah, that was well worth doing, as there was a lot of tar all over the bottom half of the car. Now I'm going on to claying, so I'm using a clear cloth. It's got clear mitt, it's got two sides to it. One you can use to soak up the paintwork for some lubrication, and then the other side is the clear mitt itself. This pulls the bonded contaminants out of the paintwork and allows basically a shinier surface, a smoother surface, and a cleaner surface for when I come to apply a wax, so it'll adhere better. I washed and rinsed the car again, dried it off, and then while the tyres are still wet I like to spray some more vinyl rubber care on them, and it has a similar effect to how it does on the engine bay, so I can just leave that on, and to be honest, I don't even buff it off, I just leave this on until it dries naturally. I'm using some Angel Wax H2 Go to ceramic coat all of the windows, and on the front windscreen I did 2 layers. Now this is great because above 35-40 miles an hour, and if the rains or the water spray is sufficiently heavy, you do not need to use your wipers. It's really good from a safety standpoint, and also it stops it getting as condensation-y or frozen as well, I've noticed. And obviously it stops dirt sticking to it as well because it's such a smooth coating for the windscreen. So yeah, this is perfect, especially on that back windscreen as well, which really sucks, the back of the car sucks up a lot of dirt and deposits it on there, so I can see out of the back windscreen for better for longer. With any ceramic coating, you really got to make sure you buff the excess off, otherwise there'll be peaks and troughs of products, and it won't be smooth and it'll hang on to dirt rather than bead and sheet it off. So I'm just doing a really thorough job and checking in all angles and all lighting that I have definitely got all of this ceramic coating off. For protecting the paintwork, I'm going to use Built Hamber double speed wax, which is great. It's cheap, it lasts forever, and it's it gives great water behaviour and protection. So I'm going to use a damp applicator, and I keep moistening this as well because it really helps you glide over the surface and really use only a small amount of product, which is then easier to buff off, and it's great from a product's lifespan point of view. Now I'm aware I look like I'm doing some really bad Elvis impersonation while I'm applying this. I was just trying to get in a rhythm of doing circular motions. I don't think it matters too much, but the instructions on the tin say to apply in circular motions, so I'll be a good boy and I'll apply as it says. Once this is buffed off, I'm going to capture some after shots in the sun, or the fading sun, and the car just looks amazing. It's so glassy. You can't really tell it's gold anymore, but in a good way. It is a really, really nice finish, and the car, I think, just looks really good. So if you enjoyed this video and you like the results that I've got, please consider subscribing to the channel. Really helps me out. Thanks a lot. I'll leave you with the finish shots.